Good morning, Amani. So good to look out and see you all here today. We are going to stand up and we're going to sing our opening song along with our guest musician, Suzanne Baldwin. So please stand.
And boy, did that gong go.
Yes.
Fabulous. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful day. This beautiful day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing day. This healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful friends. Let's do that one again and look around at your friends. Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful friends. My wonderful friends. Thank you for my health, Spirit, thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit, thank you for my health. My radiant health. My radiant health. I'm off. Thank you. Let's do that one again. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit, thank you for my health. My radiant health. My radiant health. Thank you for my life, Spirit, thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit, thank you for my life. My glorious life. My glorious life. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit, thank you for my wealth. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit, thank you for my wealth. My opulent wealth. My opulent wealth. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing day. This healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day.
Yep, batteries. Oh, wait, maybe, is it okay now? Oh, you switched them. Okay, all right. Thank you, Suzanne, and special thank you to Suzanne because Sonia was sick this morning, so I got an early text, and Suzanne stepped in last minute, so thank you. Woo! All right. So let's release the kids. Kathy's back. Are they back there already? Oh, there's no kids? Oh, well, okay. Well, so we're gonna be the kids this week. I'm glad you get to stay with us. All right. So welcome to the Amani Center. It's so good to see you all. It's always wonderful to spend a beautiful Sunday here with my Amani family. We like to start with our vision statement, so let's say it together. We are lighting the path to peace together. And so that is how we show up every Sunday, but not just every Sunday, every day. We're showing up in the world in a way where we're lighting that path to peace for others and sometimes for ourselves, and it's important work. So a little bit about who we are. We're an open and inclusive spiritual community. We know there are many paths to the divine, and we're a place where you can learn and grow and be. And we're always a safe place where you can just fill your cup, because sometimes you really need to do that. And I say that every week, but I just want you to hear it because it's really important, and it's okay. it's a good thing to sometimes just take care of yourself. Alyssa and I were just talking about that, how it's a gorgeous day, and we're like, well, I should do this, and I should do that, and I should walk, and sometimes it's just like, maybe I'm just going to sit in the yard and breathe. So take care of yourself. It's really important. Is anyone here for the first time? I don't see any new faces, but if you're online and you're watching it your first time, we'd love to send you some information, so let us know. And just know that you're welcome here. We are very happy to have new folks showing up. One of the ways we show up and light that path to peace together is with our Circle of Light, our Amani Circle of Light. It's made up of our practitioners, our ministers, people who have studied for, I don't think we have anyone who studied for less than probably 10 years at this point. It's a group of high souls, especially our ministerial council. We're just so blessed by the people who have showed up for this center. And they're here not just for Sundays and for talks and for workshops, but they're here for you every day. And so when you have something that's going on in your life, see one of us, because that's why we do this training, so we can sit down with you and remind you of the truth of who you are, help you bring in what you want to bring in, that little light, that idea, that spark that came. There's a reason, and sometimes we just need a little help to bring it into manifestation or to put down the stuff that we're carrying that's no longer serving us. So I'm going to ask the members of our Circle of Light, our practitioners, our ministers, to raise their hand so you can see who we are. These are all folks who are here who will pray with you, and some folks might be online too. So see us after service. We'd love to sit down. It's our gift to you. All right, we're going to go through our announcements. So we're still in the wonderful month of March. I love these 5 Sunday months. So we're hitting our halfway point with the wonderful Reverend Donna Apadone speaking today. And many of us went and saw her at the Crest Theater on Monday night, interviewing Michael Pollan. She was amazing. Just a reminder what an amazing person we have on our council and in our community, so thank you for that. We had a good contingent of Amani folks there, and we tried to make a good noise when they announced her so that she knew she had a cheering crowd. But it was a fantastic night, just amazing. Next week, we'll have our very wonderful Reverend Sherry Wynn, and then as it is a 5 Sunday month, we're going to have the amazing Gary Lynn Floyd on our final Sunday, the 29th. Don't miss that. Tell people, show up for that. It's going to be a wonderful Sunday. Here's some of the stuff going on this month. So this week is the third Friday, so we have our teen play date. And Alyssa is looking for help with that. So Alyssa's right here. If you haven't met her, she took over Teen Playdate. If you'd like to help see her, please, afterwards, you can donate food. You can show up and just kind of help wrangle teens and help things stay nice and calm and fun, but not too fun. You know, with teens, it's, you know. All right. Spring Equinox will be next Saturday at 11 a.m. Reverend Pixie and I will be leading that. Everyone's welcome. That's our way to honor and celebrate that change of season. So show up for that at 11, and love donations are accepted, and it's just, we'll have some ritual and some music. It's a really wonderful way to honor these things. Next week is the 22nd, and that's our dress-up day. So this month is fantasy, or fairy tales, fantasy, and first cause. So there's your themes. Think back to the fantasy stories that you used to love, that you still love, the things you did as a kid that brought out your imagination and helped you just really show up as your bright light, and then wear something that kind of brings that in. We're going to have some fun, as we always do. So we'll see you with that next week. And then we have another presentation next week. That's the 22nd after service, and that's Leaving a Legacy of Faith. And this is a friend of our board president, Joe Bangarel, and her name is Alexis Cariaga. And she'll be doing, she's a I believe, an estate attorney, an associate attorney, and doing estate type of law. So she can help you if you have problems or questions about that sort of thing. It will just be a free event, and everybody's welcome. And then she's also going to let you know how you could maybe set something up for this center if that's something that's on your heart, that you'd like to leave something for the Amani Center, so that keeps giving. All right, the other wonderful thing about that weekend when Gary is here is that we're doing this great fundraiser at my house, this house concert with Gary Lynn Floyd. So it's a dinner, all-you-can-eat buffet with some great food, desserts. You will also get a signature cocktail. I have my wonderful bartender and friend, Tyler, who was there at the last event. He'll be serving out some amazing cocktails, mocktails, and one will be included with your ticket of $75, as well as an amazing intimate concert with Gary Lynn Floyd. So I hope you'll all sign up for that. Tell friends. It's going to be a beautiful evening. And I just can't tell you how amazing Gary is. He's so lovely. He's one of those people that his music is amazing, and you hear his music, but then when you're in his presence, you're just like, how are you? Just such a wonderful light, and he really is. So I hope you'll all show up for that. We're looking for some raffle items for that. I want to do a silent raffle or some kind of a raffle at the event. So if you have something, maybe artwork, services that you know, professional services you do, a timeshare you're not going to use that you'd like to donate, newer special items, anything you can think of that we could use to just bring in some more funds for the center. This is a fundraiser for Amani. So Frank and I are donating the space and the food, and we'll be paying Gary, but everything else will just come to the center. So if you have something that you'd like to contribute, let me know. I would love to have that to just add to the experience. And then again, Gary's going to be here Sunday, and he'll be doing a song circle afterwards. So make sure you plan to stay for that. That's very just a gentle, easy thing to do when we sing together. All right, time for that Amani patio cleanup. We're going to do it on April 11th. So there's some pots that need to be replanted. There's a lot of weeds out there. We're going to blow off some leaves. We're just going to make the space look really nice. And I think we might be doing some painting in the kids' space, so in the little trailer out there, so that we get that really nice for them. They're going to be spending the summer on the patio since we don't have a kids' space right now. Otherwise, the studio closed down, so we're going to make that work for a while, but so we're going to just make it nicer as we can. So if you can help with that, April 11th, everyone will be welcome from about 9 to 12. And also, if you can't really come and do that, but you'd like to donate funds towards that, I'd love to get some new plants, just freshen things up. That's super welcome as well. All right, Walk and Hike Club. I have not picked a hike for this week. I know I can't do it Monday, but let me know if you'd like to join in on that, what it is you want to do. It doesn't need to be what I want to do. So it can be slower hikes. It can be shorter hikes. It can be whatever. And I was thinking of going out to, what's that park up there on the river? Cochrane Ranch. Anyone familiar? Cronin Ranch, that's it. I always forget the name of it. It is beautiful, and the wildflowers are probably going off right now. So that's what I was kind of thinking of. Let me know, would you like to go there? What would be a good day? It's a beautiful space to walk. And if some people feel like they just want to go really slow, that's okay too. We could break out into little groups and then meet back up and maybe bring a picnic or something like that. So see me afterwards if you're interested. Oh, in the spring cleanup, I did make a little sign up for this, so I'm going to send this around with a pen. I'm just going to hand you the pen. All right, I'm going to give this to you, Alice. Thank you. Okay. I think that's it. Okay, thank you for, here's one other thing. I did print out some extra flyers for Gary Lynn Floyd. If you know some places to hang these, see me afterwards. I also got some little ones. So if there's a place where you could share these with someone. I just really want to make this a successful event. It's one of our big fundraisers, so if you can help with that. Yeah, Devonna. Yes, we always have our potluck on the last Sunday, yes. All right, let's go ahead and do our blessing of the service now. So if you had anything in your lap, maybe set it aside for a moment and just allow your eyes to close if that's comfortable for you. And then just receive that cleansing breath in and release it. So now we've been through the busyness and we've had our time to chat with each other, and now we're just dropping in to that sacred space right at the center of where we are so that we can be fully present for the rest of this service, so that we receive exactly what we're meant to receive and we give what we're meant to give. There's always this flow of giving and receiving when we're open to it. So you may say something, or maybe just your presence next to whoever you're sitting next to can lift someone, a smile, a kind word. You never know how you're affecting others. So we're just open to our giving and our receiving, and knowing that today's service just unfolds divinely. The talk, the music, all the volunteers, all those who show up for this center. This is what the Amani Center is. It's all of you. It is a people-fed organization. We're all volunteers. We're all showing up in this community to support and love each other and to light that path to peace. So I'm just so grateful for each and every one of you. I know that you're right where you need to be, whether you're watching online or in the space or at home just thinking of us. We're just grateful for this community and know that it is doing good in the world. And so with great gratitude, with great love, I release this word into the law, knowing that as I speak it, it is already done and all is truly well. And together we say, and so it is. All right, so now we are going to do our affirmation. And we're going to speak the affirmation 3 times. We're going to say it the first time with energy, really raise the roof on this one. The second time, we'll bring it down into a whisper and we'll let it really drop into our hearts. And then third time, just join me mentally as I speak it. You can close your eyes if that feels good. I like to put my hand over my heart on that third one. All right, let's begin. My imagination creates my reality because thoughts become things. My imagination creates my reality because thoughts become things. My imagination creates my reality because thoughts become things. And together we say, and so it is. And today's affirmation was brought to us by Reverend Donna Appadone. All right, now we're going to go back to Suzanne for a song to lead us into our meditation.
I invite you, if you choose, to close your eyes and allow yourself to take this in. Where there is hatred, let me bring love. Where there is doubt, let me bring faith. Where there is falsehood, let me bring truth. Where there is pain, I'll comfort you. Where there is silence, let me sing praise. Where there's despair, let me bring hope. Where there is blindness, let me bring sight. Where there is darkness, let me bring light. And with these words I speak, grant that I may not seek to be heard, but to hear, to be consoled, but to console, not to be seen, but to see, to be loved, but to love. For when we give love, we will receive. When we forget love, we'll find reprieve. of peace. Of peace. Peace.
Beautiful. Thank you, Suzanne. So let's just let that beautiful song bring us into our meditation. Allowing your eyes to close if that's what's comfortable for you. You can also just let your vision blur if you prefer that. Sit up nice and straight and receive that breath in. Dropping right into this beautiful space where we are asking Spirit to make us an instrument of peace. What a perfect request for this community, which has committed to lighting the path to peace together. When we ask to be an instrument of peace, we're asking, what's ours to do? What's mine to do? Even just today or even right now, for the next few seconds, what's mine to do? And we can always ask this question when we feel overwhelmed, when the news or the events in the world or around the world weigh heavy on our hearts. We can ask, what is mine to do? How can I show up as peace? So as we go into our meditation, let this be a question, if it resonates for you, on your heart, and then create a space and an openness to receive the answer. What is mine to do today, this week, this lifetime, right now? Enjoy your meditation. And now, let's transition to a divine healing treatment or prayer, where we shift our focus and our mind to the divine healing and wholeness of the planet. And so in a moment, I'm going to ask you to speak aloud the name or names of the people, the situations that you want to shine this healing light of love and wholeness upon. And it can be yourself, your family, a person you know who's maybe struggling with a situation, an illness, an addiction. It can be a place in the world where there is war or violence or hunger or suffering in any way. And it can be your own heart, whatever that is that you wish to know the truth, the wholeness of. So let's go ahead right now and let's speak these names or name aloud into this space. We just feel the energy shift, bringing all of these divine situations and individuals into our hearts, making an opening for them so that we can know the truth of their wholeness, their completeness, and that in situations that feel so hard or challenging, that something better is unfolding, that there is a bigger picture that we don't always see, and that we can trust, we can have faith to know that it is unfolding divinely. And so with great gratitude, to know this is the truth, to know that there is a bigger plan and that there is something more unfolding in this world right now, a world that works for everyone. And in all of our individual situations, we transmute them. We see the transformation to light and love and wholeness. And by doing so, by seeing that, by knowing it, we are part of the solution. That is what's ours to do in this instant. So with great gratitude for all of you for doing this work, because this is how we do it. We do it together in community. We hold hands and we say yes to the good and to what's ours to do. I release this word into the law, knowing that as I speak it, it is done, and that all is unfolding divinely. And together we say, and so it is. All right, and we're going to bring Suzanne back up for another song.
Amazing, 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 amazing. You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings, and with every step you take. Bless the progress that you make, the reason you live is there in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams, you will do amazing things. Amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. Oh, amazing things. Oh, amazing. Oh, the places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't need to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes and take a breath and smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing things. Oh, amazing things. Amazing, Good morning, Amani. Thank you, Suzanne. You have such a lovely voice. If I could sing, it would be something like that. Are you all getting ready for St. Patrick's Day? I know you are. I know you're big partiers in this crowd, and I know you are getting ready. I am going to talk about imagination today, but before I do that, I just want to honor the spirit of St. Patrick for just a moment, the spirit of the holiday at least. This time last year, my whole talk was about Celtic culture, and it was a lot of fun. And there were two things that people have asked me about since then, in the last year. So I just want to repeat the two stories that have gotten a lot of attention in case you missed them that time. The first one is the overall importance of storytelling in Celtic culture, including the story of St. Patrick. It's a highly creative story because what is St. Patrick known for? Driving the snakes out of Ireland. And do you know how many snakes were in Ireland before St. Patrick came to that? This many. There were no snakes in Ireland. Come on. None. But snakes were the analogy given by the church for pagans. Snakes, pagans, same thing as far as everyone was concerned at that time. The church really wanted to drive those pagans out of Ireland. And the word pagan, of course, if you look it up in Merriam-Webster or any other good dictionary, talks about a person holding religious beliefs other than those of the main or recognized religions. So if you weren't Catholic, you were a pagan. But you know what? It's a funny thing about culture. You can try to drive that out, but it doesn't really happen that way. And that's true of any of the ancient peoples of the world. Those old traditions still carry on in some way. They're still with us in one way or another. Celtic tradition is still going strong, even with Catholicism. You cannot kill it. The practices continue. So St. Patrick didn't really drive the snakes out of Ireland. He just forced them to go underground. And that's an important little thing for us to think about at Amani. There are a lot of things that people sometimes
say about us. They have good imaginations, don't they? But we know that we're just a little bit underground and a little bit different, and that's how we do things. The second story in honor of St. Patrick's Day comes from, I've talked about John O'Donohue before. He's my favorite Irish philosopher, and he pointed out an ancient tradition. A couple people have asked me how this works, so I'm going to use his words. In the Celtic world, wells, those things in the ground with water in them, the wells are sacred places. The wells were seen as threshold places between the deeper, darker unknown, the subterranean world, and the outer world of light and form. Those are his words. So he says different wells have different levels of meaning depending on how deep they are and how big around they are. But he also pointed out that people still walk around clockwise, walk around wells, and light votives and leave them as they walk around. So it's a nice way to honor that difference between the dark and the light. It's something worth doing, but make sure you go clockwise. Okay. A nice way of imagining that outer world, the underworld, and then coming into light, which is something that we can imagine, and by imagining it, we get to experience it. So this talk, which is called Imagination is the Best Medicine, was inspired by Janet Johnson. We had a talk not too long ago about imagination. She pointed out that she is always about imagination and also a bright light. And I thought, okay, I'm going to work with that, because that playfulness of imagination is something that we can all bring to light, right? She just might happen to be celebrating a big birthday in the near future, too, so you can ask her about that separately. A long time ago, and I mean decades ago, my cousin Jerry was about 4 years old, and she's not too much younger than me, so it was a long time ago. When she was 4 years old, she got on her knees and pretended she was a dog named Sam. All the big kids in the family did humor her. We played along. We went along with the whole thing. She stayed on her hands and knees and chased us around like a little puppy, so we did what we had to do. We played fetch with her. Throw the ball, Jerry will bring it back. It was a lot of fun. She did all of this. She would jump up on the couch with us. Let's sit down for a while. She'd jump up on the couch on all fours and lick our faces. She was just completely silly about the whole thing. She was 4 years old. She did not break character even when it was time to eat, but we knew enough to draw the line and did not let her sip out of the bowl at the table. There is a line for these things. Years later, my niece, Stephanie, at age 4, did very much the same thing. Now, Jerry and Steph are on different sides of the family and on different sides of the country. They have never met each other. But Steph did the same thing. At around age 4, she became a dog and stayed in character for amazing amounts of time, barking at us and staying in character. The fun thing about that is now Steph's oldest daughter is almost 4. And I can't wait to see what happens with this. It's going to be fun. Children have brilliant imaginations. And what we all said about Jer and about Steph, decades apart, what we all said is, isn't it wonderful that they have these imaginations until we try to civilize them and put an end to creativity? Why do we do that? Why do we ruin it for them? Why do we ruin it for ourselves? Why do we try to drive the snakes of imagination out of our lives? Imagining is fun. We're going to be dressing up, right? Right here at Amani, we're going to be dressing up and going into character and getting pretty excited about it. It's a fun thing to do. We're happy to bring that little bit of creativity and playfulness and innocence that we had so many years ago. We're thrilled to reconnect with our imaginations. Imagination comes in so many forms, whether we paint or write or sculpt or act or play, whatever it is. There are a lot of ways that we can be imaginative. A lot of times we use our imagination in response to another person's creativity. About a month ago, I started listening to some music I hadn't listened to for a really long time. But of course, when you listen to music you haven't heard for a long time, you remember every note. And you remember every word, every lyric to it. And in this particular case, I remembered the mental picture that I had when I first heard that song. because songs do that for us. Lyrics and melodies, together or separately, paint pictures for us. And immediately, I was there in that other place, only because of my imagination. It took me back. There are instrumental pieces that can take me away. There is a guy, a gifted musician from Minnesota named Peter Ostrushko, who could play mandolin and fiddle like anybody's business, and just took me away to some other place when he would do that. Mary Youngblood's flute does the same thing. Aaron Copland, classical pieces that paint, in my imagination, had painted pictures of the American landscape from one coast to the other. Just mind-blowing. But he came up with the music. My imagination had to come up with those pictures and see those landscapes. And of course, anything that you play for me in a minor key, I'm gone. One of my favorite lyrics is from a guy named Alex Bevan, where right in the middle of a song about completely something else, he put in 2 lines, "It's a magic world. Fairy tales can come true." Yes! Yes, they can, when we allow them to come true, when we don't cover them up with stuff of the current day. We can allow fairy tales to come true. Our imaginations are an incredible gift. There are a lot of serious things in the world that we can't ignore, but that doesn't mean we can't have creativity. It doesn't mean we can't have imagination. These are precious opportunities that we can make for ourselves every day to escape. And those escapes, those times of imagination, are to be cherished. Let's use our imaginations right now. Are you ready? Because thoughts become things. So let's do this just a little bit. Let's imagine that every meal is mouth-wateringly good. You can taste it, right? Your favorite meal. You can imagine that. You can taste it. It's so good. Let's imagine that everyone you see is someone who makes you smile. Everyone. What if you knew everything would be okay? What if you are okay? What if you know that everyone in the world is a creation of the divine and part of the one mind? Everyone. No exceptions. So immediately when I said no exceptions, you probably thought of an exception. So I'm going to say that again. I know you so well. Or maybe it's just me who I know so well. Let me give you that one again, okay? What if you know that everyone in the world is a creation of the divine and a part of the one mind? That was better the second time. What if you know that death is not the end? What if it is just the continuation of your energy in another form? What if you always know the right thing to say? What if you always know the perfect thing to say? What if you are perfect? What if everyone is perfect? Again, I have to repeat that one. What if everyone is perfect, just as they are? Imagine that. Really, imagine it. Because sometimes you have to think about that person who, is that person perfect? I don't know. But imagine that they are, because we're bringing those thoughts into reality. I'm convinced that this is how we're going to change the world at this point in time. By having those thoughts, by creating the reality that we know is underneath all of the other stuff. One of the greatest teachers I have had in my adult life, and I don't know about you, but like it really is true. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Teachers are coming out of the woodwork. I don't know what's going on. We seem to have the teachers all around us who we need. One of the best teachers I've had is named Wayne Manning, and he taught me the power of the question, what if? Because whenever I would go to him and I'd say, Wayne, I'm having trouble with this, he'd say, what if you weren't? Well, then I'd have nothing to whine about. But he reminded me of the power of my imagination to reframe doubt, to reframe anything that's negative. When I reframe, I have possibility. When you reframe, you have possibility to go way beyond what is and to bring what's in your imagination into reality. I used to think that I was not very creative at all because I thought that creativity was within a certain category of things. And now I realize that everyone is creative, but in a lot of different ways. I am not one who is painting or writing songs. I don't have those skills, but a lot of people don't. There are some very creative people who are building budgets and building bridges. I mean, that's science. They have to have that scientific background, but they have to use those skills in some very imaginative ways for those things to happen and to come into reality. They require a creative, imaginative spin on science. And of course, speaking of science, I would be remiss if I did not point out that there is evidence that using your imagination can lower your blood pressure. That's good. It can lift you out of whatever feelings may be bogging you down. Your imagination can reclaim your view of reality. Because in us, at the core, our view of reality is correct when it's not covered up. Using our imaginations can take us back to that. Imaginations can give us the freedom to remember what our reality is. A couple of months ago, just January of this year, there was an article in Psychology Today pointing out some psychological advantages to imagination. So I love when it comes out of something scientific like that. You say, see, it's not all woo-woo stuff, it's real. Imagination helps us predict our emotions under certain circumstances. Predict our emotions. Not react to something with emotions, but we can use our imaginations to know which emotions we want to bring into play under certain circumstances. We can test out how we feel at holidays or even after surgeries. We can imagine this is how we want to come through this. This is where we want to be when this is over. We can use our imaginations to make those changes. And it can help with problem solving because we can imagine multiple scenarios and outcomes and solutions. In physical recovery from injury or illness, I work with a doctor who is internationally known in pain management, and he does a lot with imagination. He does a lot to make sure that his patients are working through this in a way that requires less medication and more meditation to make sure we can get through that. It's a part of the treatment as far as a lot of physicians are concerned. Walt Disney, our chief Imagineer, said, if you can see it, you can be it. And look what happened. I mean, he built this thing that 70 years later is still having people of all ages use our imaginations. What could be better than that? When I lead my transformation classes, I ask people to look at themselves in new ways, and it's really about imagining where you want to be and then making it happen. It's really seeing that you're already there. It's about what you have and not what you need. So when you leave here today and you have lunch with your friends and your family, I want you to talk about your wildest dreams. You know what? My wildest dream is, and then just let it come out because it's not too late. We get to a certain age and we say, oh, I can't do that anymore. Well, maybe you can't hike the whole Camino. Maybe you can hike part of the Camino. Maybe you can just fly there and visit certain places by bus that are highlights on the Camino. Or maybe you can just go out with Marcy sometime on a hike and have your own Camino in her own backyard. All of those things are possible. All of those things are part of our imagination. But if you don't act on your wildest dreams in some way, think about what you've missed. So do that. Use your imagination to achieve those goals on some level, in some way. When the COVID lockdown started, a friend of mine in Australia who is an art therapist felt like she had to do something. That was 6 years ago this week. Can you believe that? Yeah. So as an art therapist, she had a lot of tools of the trade right in her own living room. So she got to work and she made little grab bags for everyone she knows. And she put them all out on the lawn, and then she called on people who she knew, either by phone or text or whatever, and said, make sure that you come and get one of these grab bags and then send me a picture of what you did with it. And each little grab bag she had Legos and puzzles and plush toys and rocks and shells and crystals and crayons, and she just let them go. But she wanted some evidence when it was over. So she was using her imagination, and she was getting everyone to use their imagination. And what a difference it can make when you're dealing with something like we were dealing 6 years ago, just to get yourself through some pretty serious anxiety. I had an experience in those first few days, and as I was writing this, both of these stories came back to me. In those first few weeks, when we didn't know if we were going to live or die, I thought, oh, I wonder if I'll get to take those trips I wanted to take. Who knows what the outcome is going to be? So in my mind, I started doing all the planning for this. I was planning the itineraries. I was looking up, what the train schedules were. And then what I would do every night when I was ready to go to sleep, because I couldn't sleep for those first few weeks of COVID, right before I'd go to sleep, I would picture in my mind's eye, I would imagine my luggage and what I was going to take on each trip and where it would be placed in the suitcase, and I can put this many sweaters over here, but underwear over here. And I started doing this thing, and it would just completely calm me down. And within about 10 minutes, I was asleep. And I slept better on those nights than I did on any others. And I did eventually take those trips, because packing was a cinch by then. It was so easy. I knew exactly what I wanted to take. But I'm telling you all of this because imagination is what gets us through. Imagination is what we can make into our reality. It's what we know in science of mind, but how often do we really remember it and use it? Here's an opportunity to use it, to bring to fruition what we think, and to find new ways to think and to be, so that we can rework and reframe what's right in front of us, what's really important, what the reality really is. Marcy mentioned one of the 2 events that I had this week that were live on stage events with 900 people each of the 2 nights. And somebody asked me yesterday, don't you get nervous? I said, no, because I just imagine that everybody in that audience is a friend. They're not there to judge me. They're not there to criticize me. They're my friends. They want to be there. So it's like a partnership. It's like a collaboration. And I wouldn't feel that way if I couldn't imagine that it were so. But that's how we make it our reality. My imagination lets me know to what extent I can revise and reframe what I see in my life. To what extent I can shift my reality, to what extent I can cure anything that needs healing. It's all in my imagination. And my imagination allows me to remember in a new way that I really am part of the one mind, because everyone is, and that I'm capable of so much more than I've done so far. How about you? My imagination takes me to wherever I'm going, wherever I want to go in this life, and whatever I leave behind when I'm gone. How about you? My imagination lets me live in love and equity, because that's the energy I want to continue. My imagination creates my reality. It's the connection to the future. Whether I am in that future physically or not doesn't really matter. It's the energy and the imagination that makes the future for you and for the people around you. My imagination isn't just for me. It's my legacy. How about you? Using your imagination as your legacy takes it to a whole new level, and certainly a level worth investigating. I want to leave you with a line from a play I saw a long, long time ago, a play for children, a very imaginative play called Marmalade Gumdrops. And in this play, one of the characters explained that there are a lot of flavors of marmalade gumdrops. You know, there's the pickle-flavored marmalade or gumdrop, there's the pickle-flavored gumdrop, there's the grape gumdrop, there's the lemon gumdrop that makes you go like that. All of those different flavors. And in the same way, there are a lot of flavors of imagination. A lot of flavors of imagination. Some gumdrops don't have any flavor at all. Some gumdrops are plain. Just as some people don't have any imagination at all. They're just kind of plain. Some gumdrops have very weak flavors, and some people have very weak imagination. So you see where we're going with that. But there's one gumdrop flavor, as the character in this play pointed out. There's one gumdrop flavor that stands apart from all of the others. Just like a good imagination, this is the flavor that adds so much color and texture to everything in our lives. It tastes like the marmalade that you put on toast, that makes you smile and makes you so happy. And he said, imagination is like marmalade gumdrops. Once you've tried it, you'll never settle for just plain. Think about that. That's my message to you. Never settle for just plain. Never settle for less than your wildest imagination, whatever that is. Think it, be it, make it happen. Never, ever, ever settle for just plain. And together we say, and so it is, and so we allow it to be.
Thank you, Reverend Donna. Didn't I pass this spring cleanup? What did I pass? Oh, okay. Thank you. Now I'm curious what I passed around. All right. Now it's time for our fair, the spring event. Oh, okay. Okay. Whatever. Sorry, that kind of got me off track. Now it's time for our joyful time of giving. So this is our opportunity to support the Amani Center with your gifts, your tithes. We are an independent community, so we operate on what we get here and from our workshops and from our fundraisers. So we're just so grateful how